just things happened last night. I had to take care of some personal stuff. So yeah.
Got a delicate balance here I gotta maintain.
We're waiting for Divi to get.
Sheesh.
Haven't spoken to one since V2. What do I do? Go to therapy. That's what you're going to do. That's not a troll question. You got hurt by a woman when you were 19. You haven't talked to one since in your 50s. Go to therapy. You got a therapist. Find a good therapist and have her be able to give you the advice you need when it comes to what you need and everything. So,
Lo siento.
That's gonna be the best. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we couldn't do anything last night. Unfortunately, I had things I had to do last night, take care of, and I wasn't finished until like midnight. So, but here we are. Divi's getting set up for the TikTok.
All right, so I got.
We're over on YouTube. If y'all want to go over to YouTube as well,
drop that.
So here we go. But yeah, brother, that's all I can tell you is, man, go see a therapist. Maybe she got some work you can do, some exercises.
All right, you hear me on this?
Yeah, we can hear you. So that'll be the best thing. As soon as Divi is ready here, we can we'll get started.
That was a quick little romp in the woods, wasn't it?
That didn't take long, bro. That didn't take long. Trust me, I got my little stand up here,
Yeah, I don't know why it's echoing. Do you hear me echoing now?
Not to me, you're not. You're not echoing to me, man.
I got everything down to where I shouldn't be echoing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to tell y'all why I'm echoing. Couldn't tell you.
Are they telling you that you're echoing?
I don't hear an echo anywhere on my side. You don't hear it on his side. Are y'all watching in two different spots? Like, that's all I can think of.
Good to go. Yeah, there's no echo, so we're good.
All right, cool. Well, what's up, brother? Goodness gracious.
It's been a long weekend, long week.
Bit of an adventure to get here, I would say.
A bit of an adventure. Yeah. Just busy stuff, man. Busy time, busy life. What's up with you? Look who it is.
Yeah, look who it is, brother. Oh,
coyotes are us.
We're here. We're late. We're a day late and $1 short. I went to the ATM to try to get that $1, but they only do like 5s, 10s, and 20s. So still $1 short. Nobody could break the change, unfortunately.
It is okay.
Still $1 short. Anyway, man, look, dude, you had a little rough night last night, apparently.
Man, look, I gotta get the rental ready. The renters moved in today, or at least they got the keys today. And bro, garage door went out. Toilet had some seal problems. Figured that out. How to do that. How to put up a damn shelf in the master bedroom. So I had to do some touch-up painting and everything else from spots missed. So it was a long night. Patching holes.
Well, I'll tell you this, it helped me out because my buddy invited me over for some lechon kawali. That's Filipino pork belly. And it was I'm not really a big pork guy anymore. Not, I'm not Muslim or anything, but it's fresh. He always cooks fresh stuff. So, and you've had Cecil's cooking. It's good.
Oh yeah. Cecil's a great cook. I like Cecil.
So when you told me you couldn't do it last night, brother, I was like, yep. I'm in the car and I'm on the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was trying, bro. I was trying, and then I got to a point, I'm like, I looked at my watch, was like, I ain't gonna be done. I gotta get this done. And
yeah, for sure.
I handed him over the keys today. And
Well, good, man, because I'll tell you what,
that we're going to be talking about that a little bit of like what, doing that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that kind of, you doing all that and, learning things on the fly and getting things ready. That's a big part of, part of our show. A little bit later on, we'll talk about a little bit of self-improvement, and we'll get into that a little later.
Yeah,
but
the main topics tonight is definitely going to be a little bit of dating culture, as always, some self-improvement, how that affects mental health and what it can do to better, and
absolutely
doing some things what you should do in your 20s and your 30s, for those that need to hear from someone else, guys that are pretty much about to go into their 40s.
So. My God, we are about to go into those 40s, aren't we?
Both turned 40 this year. Crazy.
I'll let you know how it is from the other side when July gets here, I guess.
Man, look, don't let me know. I don't want to know what it's like. Okay?
I expect to wake up with a crick in my neck.
I swear. God. Look, I already do it.
Look, check it out, man. What we love to do here is kind of break down some of the dating cultures and trends that are going on out there. And, I did a little research this week and I saw some weird stuff out there. Two really weird things out there that are kind of like trending right now. Okay. And you know me, I'm not a super trendy guy, but
you're not into it. I'm shocked you brought it up, bro.
No, but like I want to keep up with what's going on so I can have better answers because like I'm not just an old fuddy dud. I'm kind of fun, but I just don't I kind of keep myself out of that stuff. Right. And now we got to get into it, man. And so one of the things I really want to jump into here was this thing called the 7-7-7 rule. Like you hit like you're pulling a slot machine and you're getting all sevens. So let me break this down. So what this thing is, right, is I don't know who this was written by, but it is a date night every 7 days.
Okay.
Manageable. Yeah. Here's where we get into the weird stuff. A night away from home every 7 weeks. And then a vacation / romantic holiday every 7 months. And that is the key to keeping things fresh, fun, and keeping the love alive in this relationship. And
okay,
I gotta be honest with you, man. They got me on the 7 with the 7 week thing. A night away from home every 7 weeks. You want me to go stay in town, but go to a hotel.
Right.
And I'm
thinking like a weekend getaway. So I guess a vacation is going to be like a week. Where like a weekend
vacation getaway. Like a vacation. Yeah, like somewhere else entirely, a week, 2 weeks, whatever.
I mean, I'm cool with the week. Look, I think the whole a date a week is very feasible. You should do that because you can do a date night can be anything.
Absolutely.
What I mean? So that's very feasible. The every 7 weeks having like a getaway and then the 7-month vacation. It depends on your situation. I can tell you this.
Jackpot.
It's this right here. Look, you ain't really going places and staying places. Don't get me wrong. There's cheap ways of doing it, but yeah. The thing is, it's very feasible. Well, I think the 7 week, you take a weekend trip somewhere every 2 months. You take like a little weekend getaway somewhere. You drive somewhere, maybe catch a quick flight. I think that's very feasible when you have 2 people doing it. When 2 people are putting in, I feel like it's very feasible. I've been in relationships like that where when both of us were putting in and paying for things, we did do a lot of stuff like that. So that's very feasible. And we weren't making 6 figures, like neither one of us was. So to be able to do that, very feasible. The vacation, like I said, very doable financially if you have 2 people putting in, unless you have one person in a relationship, obviously making a lot of money, especially today. I mean, you go anywhere, it's a grip. It'll cost you. But the vacation time, who gets that much vacation? I don't get that much vacation. I have to use my weekends for my getaways.
So I don't know about like I get plenty of vacation. Like I don't know, I get somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 weeks. But then I'm allowed to like take as much vacation as I accrue. But like you got here, the thing is though is that the barrier to entry on something like this. Okay, I'm a firm believer that this needs to be chopped down by 2/3, and this should just be the 7 rule. Okay, because I fully endorse having a date night every week. Okay. Again, a date night doesn't have to be just going to dinner. Okay. Doing something a little fun, a little axe throwing. That's a big new thing these days. Go dancing, go do something, right? That's something that, there's not a high barrier to entry into because anybody can take somebody on a date if you're clever enough, right?
Right.
It's the 7 weeks you want me to go stay in a hotel just to keep things fresh. Not everybody has cash like that. I mean, so again, this seems to be like a rule that's written by somebody who pretty much just dates with money, right? And you got to understand, not everybody's like that. Some people are just starting out. Some people are just getting in their groove. Some people got a lot of issues, man. You can't just sit there and go book a dang, a hotel every 7 weeks. Now, I like what you said because that's what we used to do back in the day, even though we weren't dating, but like, as friends in a relationship, blast over to Panama City, blast over to Gulf Shores for, a couple of days, if you know somebody, things like that.
But this is why I said it really just depends on your situation.
Exactly.
Right. Like the 777 rule might apply to people who are financially in a position to do that. Otherwise, I do agree with the idea of trying to keep it fresh and entertaining and putting in effort. I understand that aspect of it, which I think is the biggest thing. But yeah, when you kind of lay it out there and it's like these are the rules to keep your relationship exciting, and it's like requiring pretty much just money, and it's just like
a money thing.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, dating needs to be relationships got to be more clever, man. Like that's why I'm glad I said the word clever because relationships need to be more clever in how you go about keeping them fresh. First of all, not being clever at all. Honesty is a big one. Like keep honest with each other. Open communication, that's a big one. And then yeah, of course, plan a little something. Grab a little something on the way home. A couple of flowers here, some chocolates there. Hey, if you know your boyfriend loves Deadpool pops, and you happen to have an extra $12, grab it. If it's not the right one, guess what? Everybody takes returns. Okay. But it was a thought that counts. We appreciate you, and we ain't gonna trip about it. But you got to be more clever than just making everything about money. And this is all this rule is just money. I think that it should be called the 7 rule. Cut the other 2 requirements away, and yes, have some kind of a date night for every week. Like do something together every week and call it your date night. What do you think?
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think to keep your relationship exciting, you don't have to go on vacations and trips. I mean, you can't if you got the funds for it and you save up for it and whatnot. It's great. Like do that. You definitely should do that, right? Because you're experiencing life, right? Yeah. But to say like you that is a requirement in order to be successful. I mean, for some people who that in their mind, like that's what they require in their relationships, then that's what they need, right? Which that comes down to what you said about communication. You have to communicate what type of relationship you want. How do you want to live your life? What are the roles? What are, you know what I mean? Like Absolutely. I said, I've done that. We used to go multiple times, like almost every other weekend. We were going somewhere, or at least once a month, we were going to see a concert or we're going to do a show or a sporting event. So it's feasible, but it was when there was 2 of us doing it and paying for it. And then when it came down to only one of us, man, it's a little more difficult. So I'm with you. I'm with you.
It can't be relying on one person.
You can make your relationship
situation, then sure.
Yeah, you can make your relationship interesting.
I think it's just a barrier. It's a little bit too much of a barrier to entry thing for me. That's it. Like, just keep it a 7 rule. Go do other things you can. But let's talk about something even more absurd than that, man. I mean, that wasn't too absurd. I'm not gonna give it. Only
It's
part of
not.
that
It's
was
a
a little
trend.
bit ridiculous.
It's a popular trend going on, and that's what we do. We're on social media, right? And on these platforms there are different trends, and not everyone sees it because everyone's platform's different. So it's cool to see what trends are going out there. I know when a lot of my videos, I talk about things, and like people in the comments will be like, I don't see stuff like that. And it's like, well, because our algorithms are going to be different. So I'm bringing up and I'm talking about things that I'm seeing that's out there. And so, yeah. What else you got?
Right.
What else you got?
For sure. Well, another one that was right next to that is this thing called throning. Have you ever heard of throning? Do you know what throning is?
Yeah. That is where you pretty much put your relationship online, whether it's for good or bad. I typically see a lot of people, two different ways people do this is people really try to project this amazing relationship they have with people, and it always comes out to be like wrong. It's always a front, right? But they're doing it for the views and whatnot. And then you have the people that have realized you can go viral for shaming your partner online.
Wow, yeah.
And it's like, because we talk about that, right? We talk about that before where, you shouldn't be talking bad about your partner to like your friends and your family. But they've taken to a point now, they take their partner and try to embarrass their partner online for the entire world. So we're telling people, look, you really shouldn't bring a lot of your problems about your partner to your friends and family. And so y'all said, fuck it. Let's show the whole world.
Yeah.
No wonder why things are going the way they go, bro. Come on.
So I've seen these things happen, right? And obviously we both know certain people that do it, but like this never works. And I just wanted to just look at you guys. This is a waste of time when you throne your partner where you're just in a relationship to flaunt that you're in a relationship and all the cool things he or she does for you but because every time I see these things behind the scenes, it's chaos. It's chaos, it's misery. And then I'll have been with some people, a couple. I'll have been with them while they were doing a thing, and they're filming themselves and every time the camera goes off, screaming, yelling, you didn't do it right. Smile bigger, act like you're happy. Boom, camera on, all smiles. And then suddenly it's all up online, and I'm like, I was there. This was the most I wanted to leave. Like, I walked to my car and left because I was having such a bad time with these people,
Right.
So it's just it never works.
You
Don't
notice
get in a
something, right?
relationship.
Have you noticed something though, right? Like, you ever notice when you're in a relationship, like when I'm in a relationship and like something very nice is going, like we're having a great time, we're doing this and that. There is no setting up a camera to film it.
Never.
Like a lot of times, like people wonder, like, what were you doing here? What were you doing there? And I'm like, you're lucky if we got a selfie. Because like most of the time when like good shit's happening and like it's actually genuine, like you're not really setting up a camera to record it.
Yeah.
So if you got time to set your camera up to try to record something, it's like, I already know it's not genuine. I already know, like, This is for the likes, this is for the views. You're putting your shit out there. It ain't really like this. It isn't really like this. And every time there's these internet couples, internet marriages, internet relationships, it's always funny that it's almost like clockwork. And not only the people that, not only just them, but the people we know, right? Like the people where they put that stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and every time we already know it backfires. They break up. All of a sudden, they're both abusive, narcissists. And you're just like, I could tell you. It's like when they have like a joint account. It's like, okay, someone cheated. You know what I mean? A joint account. Who cheated? Give us the details. Like, because if you're going to change your whole stuff up and have a joint account, let us know.
I remember a couple of people that I knew. It was only maybe 3 total that had joint accounts. Like I woke up one day, there was a single account, and then there was a joint account. And my first thought was that relationship is over. That relationship is over.
Start the countdown.
Because I'm sure there's other reasons aside from jealousy to put a joint account up, but that's your number one 99% reason right there why you're putting a joint account up. It's because you want to see what everybody says to each other, who's being sexual, who's doing this.
Someone lost the trust. Someone lost the trust of the other person.
Crazy, man.
Every time.
Yeah, a joint account is no good. That's no good. And I'm not saying, look, if it works for you, I'm sure it does. I don't think it works. I've never seen it work. And I have a 100% guessing success rate on whether that relationship was going to last. None of them did.
Because I've seen one joint account work.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen one.
Man.
And it's only because it's only the wife and she runs her business off of it.
Okay.
And he doesn't even do social media.
Okay, that's like a cheat code, yeah.
Right. That's a cheat code. Like they're the exception to the rule. I know one. Every other one, call it quits. I'm just curious who did what to who. That's what I'm just wanting to know. Like if we got it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: when you do this, when y'all put this stuff up there, oh no, you got us invested. We want the details.
Of course.
All right. We got us invested. Right.
I want to know if somebody's going to mess up and flirt on a joint account.
Right.
Look, people will respect your joint account for like 2 weeks.
Right.
2 weeks. You got 2 weeks from when you put the banner up that says, we are a joint account. And suddenly 2 weeks later goes by and people start slipping. And they start liking, hearting, and flirting, and oh, sweet booty, and who the hell is this guy? And then it's over. Then it's over.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. So what should people do instead, brother? What should people do instead? This is another one of our topics of the day. What is the way that people should date? Go for it.
With a purpose. Intentionally and with the purpose.
And when should they start?
Young. So this is something that I've said before, and I get so tired. Like this is my thing. I get tired of hearing people wait until, oh, well, now that I'm 35, now that I'm 40, now that I'm 45, I have kids. I got all this baggage from all this terrible relationships that I ignored the red flags and I did this and that. I am so tired of people waiting till they get older to then be like, now I'm going to value these certain things. Now I'm going to date with a purpose of building with someone who's like this. And I feel like that is something we need to be preaching. I've had that people tell me that in my videos. They're like, you're older. Why are you talking about what younger people are doing? Why are you trying to talk to the younger crowd? I'm like, because the younger crowd's the one who needs this information.
They do.
The younger crowd, right? Like the young crowd, once you're 40, you're so stuck in your ways, you're not going to really change. Sorry, you're not, right? And that's why it's like, I'd rather have younger people in their 20s hear the truth of, I know what a lot of older people are telling you, but they're telling you negative things that's going to impact you negatively in your life down the road. You don't think about it right now. But down the road, it is, right? I had this conversation like 2 nights ago, right? And it was, it was like, when is the most influential time in young men and women's lives, right? Late teens and all through their 20s, right? Yep. That is the most influential time and impressionable time in people's lives. And you want to tell these people, go out and get involved in all this debauchery ass behavior.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You got all the time. Well, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Right? You're during this important time in young adults' lives. You're teaching them to act this way, but then when they get to their 30s, they're asking the question of why are people doing this? Why are we like this? Why are we like that? Well, we just spent the last 15 years acting one way, and now you want us to act a different way.
No, yeah, 100%, man. And the reason that young people need to learn it is because when you date with intention from a young age, you know, you might not know exactly what you want, but you know where you want to end up. Sorry about that. I thought I'd turn it off. So you know where you want to end up in a nutshell, right? So if you pursue what you're looking for, like for me, right? You and I actually, you told me that you dated with intention from the jump, right? So with me, I dated from intention young, but then I fell off of dating with intention after I turned 25. And it was a stupid excuse for myself. After I turned 25, I said, I don't want to be an old dad. I wanted to have a wife and kids by 25. And once I hit 25, I went crazy. I said, all right, I'm just going to go crazy now. And that was a stupid decision.
You was out there doing all that debauchery. I actually dated with intention, but something that I didn't do. And it could be because I was treated differently growing up. Maybe I had an older brother and I hung out around him on the weekends and his friends. Maybe I matured faster. So, when you're dating with intention and you're wondering, why didn't it work out with y'all? Like, why am I can't date someone who's going to constantly be insecure and there's nothing you can do to change that. I can't continue. I'm not going to get married to someone who can't communicate, who can't do these things.
Yeah.
So my relationships did falter for that, even through into my 30s. You can only deal with so much insecurity and be like, you can only try to communicate so much with people and be like, hey, like I said, I've had women say, I need to look at your phone, and I hand them my phone. And it's like, you done deleted everything. And it's like, so it doesn't stop. And so you're like, well, then this isn't going to work, right? So the last year and a half has been a waste because you're not going to trust me. I've done nothing. You've caught me doing nothing. You're looking through my phone, like, here, my phone, open, look at it. And there's no trust. So it's like, how am I'm not going to continue being here and you can't trust me after all this time, after not catching me anything, all because you're some way, which is why I talk about, like, people shouldn't have to deal with your insecurities. People shouldn't have to pay for what other people did to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I've always dated with intention, but I also realized, you hear it all the time, right? I got married young and I ignored all these red flags, right? I ignored this and that. I didn't. I never ignored that. I saw, you can not communicate. Oh, you weaponize sex. You weaponize communication. You weaponize all these things. You refuse to communicate. You don't want to do this or you don't want to do that. And it's like, fair enough. Like, all right, I didn't ignore that. And a lot of people do. And we can go, that's a whole nother ball game. We'll go through that too.
Yeah,
that's a link long as stuff.
That we'll do that next time. We'll get our thoughts together and we'll do that next time because to kind of run off of what you were speaking of is a good part of dating with intention, though, is that you got to, like, not only start early, but like you said in the pre-show meeting, man, you got to water your own garden, right? Like, you can't just give up. Like, we're not talking about if this person is abusive or anything like that. If it's just life is happening and some things get tough, and a bill kind of piles up here or things like just life happening. You can't run away from life. You got to work that kind of stuff out.
Right.
There's too many people running away. And like I said, it's a theme of this show, the delusion of options. We get it. Like, but back when we were there wasn't really that much of that, but it was still a lot of running away. And
hold that thought. Hold that thought for a second.
Oh, go ahead.
Right back. I go handle something real quick.
What are you doing?
I gotta go handle something real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I'm not.
All right, I'll shuck and I'll dance for you and do anyway. Okay, well, I wasn't gonna do this, but let me run into the comments and see what we got here. We're here for the Chisme. The Keysme? What's that mean? So I wasn't going to do this. Oh, by the way, I wanted you guys all to know, if you're watching on the YouTube, you'll know. If you're watching on his, I am co-hosting his. So even though I can't see your comments, you'll know. So we had a little issue last week. I don't really know exactly what the issue was, but we have decided to change our format to where we are going to do a show. So he's back. And we're doing more show.
Look, man, Froster Rooney was at the door just crying, and I'm like,
Well, we know we love Frosty.
let
We
me go
love
put
him.
him up, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
So where was I?
uh,
Oh yeah. I remember. So yeah, just working things out, man. Like you can't just we get it. Running away from what y'all call these red flags and abusive stuff. We get all that. Run away from real red flags. You know,
right,
a red flag where like a guy, hurt your feelings one time because you're early in a relationship and you don't know the boundaries yet. That's something you want to communicate and work through, right? That's not something that you need to just cast off. Plenty of fish in the sea. I mean, did you like that person? Because obviously you clearly didn't like that person enough to have the boundaries conversation, right? So just have the boundaries conversation. Yeah, Heidi, runner. Anyway, so now that you're back and I don't have to talk to the crowd anymore.
you're good. You're good. No, and you're right on
You
point
done
with
messed
that's
me up, bro.
when I say I had to end relationships or the relationships just they ended it. It was because of all that. It was that whole lack of communication, that lack of working through things. That's a big thing. Like I said, we've been out in the dating world. I know other guys have been out in the dating world and other people, and that whole the red flag and every little thing people want to run away from the moment something happens. Like, look, you're two people coming together from different places, raised differently. Like, not everything is a red flag. And if you're running away because you have a disagreement on something, that's a you problem. Like, you've got some issues there that you need to go resolve. Because as adults,
Yeah.
if we have a
So
miscommunication, talk
basically
about
all of it, like basically everything relationship wise that I've had end in the last 10 years is them not being able to work things out. Like I'm not a runner. I want to work stuff out. And people just run, man. And
right,
I'm not out here doing anything crazy. I'm not
right,
abusive or anything. So, it's just like little arguments that people don't want to work. Small arguments,
yeah.
like small stuff, and they
And
run.
it festers. It like they hold it in, and this is what we've talked about this offline, where you people will have no problem. And this is why I say it isn't that communication people can't communicate. They won't communicate
Yeah, of
because they
course.
will communicate to their friends, their family. They'll communicate exactly what the problem is, but with their partner,
The
they
one that
won't communicate.
matters.
And it ain't about comprehension. I know a lot of people say, well, comprehension's key. No, they comprehended what you said. They comprehended you. You know what I'm saying? But depending on where they're at with their resentment, whether or not they're not even there anymore, depending on like the situations and whatnot, uh, yeah, yeah, man. It's you gotta if you're going to be in a relationship, like you gotta be able to like work through things. And I say this, like I've had people say, well, I've made comments where like, look, if you tell me you got a bunch of trauma, like I don't really have the patience for that. And people just think that I mean that like if you have any trauma at all, I'm just done. Like, no. The thing is like when you're dealing with someone who has trauma, it's if they've acknowledged it and they're working on it, you know what I'm saying? And they communicate that's differently. You have a lot of people out there, they got issues. And like, oh, the moment something happens, oh, that's fine. There's 300 other people in my DMs. I can just go find someone else. And it's like,
Yeah.
you had all this good stuff with this person and y'all having a miscommunication, but you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to try to communicate that and
Weird,
try to
man.
understand. And yeah, it's
Yeah, if you water your own grass, it'll be greener than the other side.
yeah,
Okay. That's the part of the grass is greener thing that they don't tell you is that the grass isn't always greener on the side because if you water your own grass, it's gonna be nice and green. Okay.
right.
So there you
like
go.
like I've been like I know a lot of people they think that I haven't been in a relationship my entire like oh now that you're 39 now you want to settle down like I've been trying to
Been
but
trying.
unfortunately the age we've grown up in I just ain't had the luck of finding someone who actually wanted to work on that
Sure.
I've seen what it's like to have that resentment where you're sitting there going what's the problem and they don't want to communicate at all. So yeah, you gotta water your own grass if you want it to, be nice and green.
Absolutely. Well,
Love it.
like, dating with intention also coincides with if you want to do that, you might want to set some goals out there in life. And I know that I've done that. You've done that. And I know you wanted to talk about some of the things you need to start doing early on in your life. So why don't you jump into some of that? You have some advice for your 20s and 30s and what you really need to get kicked off with. Not just dating with intention, but maybe living with some intention as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because one of the big issues in our society today is, mental health, and we talk about mental health, and a lot of this stuff does affect negatively and positively our mental health and even our emotional health. And so, one of the first things would be for younger people that, hey, dating with a purpose, and not waiting till you're 35 with trauma, and getting older and possibly coming with other people's kids and all that extra stuff, that then you want to value certain things. So I know when people are in their teens and their 20s, most people, men and women, value looks over everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so the younger people need to stop putting so much value on looks and start valuing character more so. But that also comes down to parenting. We mentioned parenting of parents. Parents
Yep.
have to set a better example for children, because studies show most people date people that are similar to their parents.
Yeah, they do.
So that was like one of the first things that came to my mind. Um, and as you're a young adult, you're obviously out there in your career working, and second thing would be focusing on your career, and not just focusing on your career where like you throw life away. Like, no. You need a work-life balance, but understanding what you got to do in your career to advance to where you want. So you want to set goals. So you want to accomplish a certain goal and be in a certain place. Well, you need to figure out what's that checklist of getting there and being able to accomplish that while also still focusing on yourself, not losing relationships, not getting lost in just being career driven. Because what I have seen, and you've seen, we talked about it, and this is a growing thing. People get so stuck in the hustle culture of
Yeah,
work. They don't know how to function with people.
that's a
They
fact.
don't know how to have conversations. They don't know how to put the phone down. Like, it's wild. So that was the one that's the second thing, because you're going to have to worry about your career first, right? Um,
Sure.
and the other things, real quick, is the whole stop trying to impress people. A lot of people waste money, put themselves in a lot of debt, make their life harder, because they try to impress people by buying clothes, shoes, cars,
Watches.
and stuff they really truly can't afford. And those are all liabilities. They all depreciate in value. They're not going to make you money, unless you you buy a car you can rent out and make it money like that. But most people don't do that, right? So that
Absolutely.
was some of the biggest things I could tell people in their 20s and 30s is stop wasting money on a lot of this materialistic nonsense, that just it's a waste. It's a waste. And instead of doing that, you got that money to blow. If you're not wasting money, or I don't even say wasting, if you're not spending money on a life experience, traveling, seeing certain events that you won't be able to
Absolutely.
experience, spending time with actual people, experiencing things with people, 100% do that. But if it's not that, your money should be going into investments. And that's what they should be doing. The earlier you start, the better.
Absolutely. Even if it's like and well, hell, they got more options now. If you don't trust, like, say, the stock market, if it's too confusing for you, they got high yield savings accounts out there running about 5% that we didn't have that back when we all of our savings account 0.25, 0.025. It's dude, they got high yield savings account. You can just throw money into a high yield savings account and don't let the card come to you. Let it accumulate. Put some money in there. One thing that I started doing, because I had like a big problem like with going out to eat like a while ago, and like I just everything was going out to eat, and now I buy my groceries And every time I get the urge to go out to eat, I order up what I'm going to order. I see the price, and then I put the money that price was, I put that money in savings. Every time. Instead of buying some stupid food when I got food in the fridge, right? And that's why, I'm not fearful of this down angle that I have going on. I got a little, a little more neckline now. I'm losing some weight, doing things,
Right.
you don't want to do that kind of stuff, man. So that's a big one. Honestly, that's a huge one. Is if you see something you want to buy and you have the money for it, go calculate what it's going to cost, and then don't buy it and put that money where it's going to be useful.
And here's the other thing. I've actually heard someone say this. It's one of them like YouTubers, finance guru, whatever. And it kind of made sense. They said, if they're going to go buy anything, right? Pair of shoes. If that pair of shoes costs, say, $250, if they buy it, they also have to put they have to match it into their savings.
Yep.
So pretty much in order to buy it, they got to have double the money, which is like, all right, I can accept that. I can accept that. And with that being said, these things that people should be doing in their 20s and 30s, once again, it's to help them set themselves up for success later on, and also with their, mental health, because the better off you are, the happier you tend to be. For most people, I know money don't buy happiness, but it does.
Yeah,
it does buy happiness. You're a lot more happy when you're not struggling.
Yeah, fiscal responsibility is huge, and it's a thing that, look, I didn't learn fiscal responsibility until I was in my 30s. Like I really didn't learn it, and I had to sit myself down and be like, why are we buying? Like the only thing fiscally responsible I did was have a car for like almost 15 years. That's the only fiscal responsible thing I was doing. Everything else was I was spending, man, as soon as I got a check in, I was spending it, right? Then I kind of just learned, okay, I need to stop spending money on stupid stuff and start investing in the future. So like now, I have some stock stuff. I budget now. Budgeting is huge. Learn to budget, people. Look, I don't even care if you come from money. Learn to budget. But if you don't come from it, when you have the numbers in front of you, it makes a world of difference to understanding what you can and can't do.
Right.
And you will make that dollar stretch. And it's very, 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 very important to be fiscally responsible from a young age, because you're behind the 8 ball. And take it from somebody who kept himself behind the 8 ball when it came. I'm doing fine now, but man, it was a claw to get back up. To where I was good. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You have to get lucky with a good job and stuff. Like, how about work towards that?
So on that topic of, self-improvement, and betting yourself, I know you said you want to talk about some things like your goals and some other things you could do for, self-improvement. It can always be financially.
No, of course not. It's activity, man. Like you guys, look, some of you guys have seen, I don't really do a lot of the live stuff, but when do you see me doing it? I'm walking to the gym. I'm walking in the nature trails. I'm getting myself off the couch, outside, in nature, sunlight, vitamin D, walk.
Right.
Getting some sweat going. Somebody asked me, like, why are you wearing a hoodie in 83-degree weather? Sweat. Because I want more of it.
It keeps the joints warm, right? It keeps the joints and the muscles warm.
There you go.
What I mean, it helps you feel so much better as you've gotten older. And
like for instance, I don't know if I would have survived before the show. You guys don't know this. I almost died before the show. He was calling me, and I was answering the phone, and I tripped and fell like an old person sometimes does. And I fell right on my kneecap, and I thought life was over. And all I could do was look up at the door and say, okay, the doors are unlocked. Somebody will find me. After a minute, I was cool. Kneecap wasn't broken, and we're good to go. And I attribute that to being healthy now.
There you go. And you got to be healthy, you know, both physically and mentally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Man, get in the gym, get a weight training program, walk a lot, and encourage people around you to walk and stuff.
so
And,
that's one
and,
of those things
and
we're talking about, right? Is I got a list here.
go for it.
Yeah, y'all. I wrote a list down, right? I actually wrote a list down.
Did you
And
really?
some of the things, yeah. Because, you know, being someone who's been through like multiple like body transformations and
Yeah.
has done all the things that I've done and got to see when people wonder, like, well, why do you have the views you do? Why do you do this, do that? I'm like, I've experienced a lot in my life. And I got to see it from multiple sides of things. And
Yep.
so, you know, when it comes to this, this goes for everybody where it's like, you know, I don't think people realize like getting up, getting out, moving, getting out in the sun, in the heat, how good it will help, you know, help you feel. I used to not be able to run 15 feet. And then I got to a point in my life where I was running 5 miles in the dead of like the middle of the day at the hottest point of the day. And it just felt amazing. And what it does for you. And, you know, it's because you set goals, right? And so we talked about that earlier, you know, where we got to start setting goals. You know, here we are in March, you know, we're almost in April, you know, a
Yep.
fourth of the year is already,
Yeah.
holy cow, time's flying. And, you know, you got to set them goals. And one of the main goals that a lot of people do, you know, you're doing it, I'm doing it, is trying to get in better shape. You know, losing weight, less weight helps your body feel better. You're eating better food, you're moving, you're exercising. This stimulates your mental and physical well-being, your emotional well-being. And with that, you know, I want people to do this so much because one of the things that I noticed that really helped was when you start to lose weight and then you start to change clothing. And a lot of people don't understand is when you're a big person, you don't have a variety of clothes to wear.
Nope.
Right. So when you slim down, like you get a different variety of clothes, you get to dress in, things look better on you. And that helps you, makes you feel better. Like just about yourself, not, you know, negatively about anybody else, but it helps you yourself feel better. And that's something I had written down here for like, you know, self-improvement for people to like help better themselves. And that's one is dressing better and, you know, taking care of yourself and getting haircuts. I know my hair is wild right now. My barber, she got me Thursday. I'm cutting the hair off too.
I can't wait for that because I know I was the proponent for your hair, and I was a big influence on why you kept it long. Because I remember when we were in New Orleans and you had that Viking cut, and I was like, yo, that's my freaking guy. And we were like, you know, listening to Saliva and Malcolm play, and you had the whole thing going. I was like, that's my dude. But yeah, it's time to cut that shit, man. Like it's over with, bro. Cut it. I wanted to show you something though, because look, like you said, we didn't have a lot of options, big, but yeah, my thighs and my quads and stuff are slimmer and trimmer, and I got me some brand new sexy shorts that I'm gonna be showing off my you know, the old muscles in the legs that are starting to pop out. So you know, I feel you on that. That's 100% real. These just came in today. I got 3 pairs of them. I'm gonna wear them tomorrow.
Hell yeah. Well, brother, I think it's time, you know. Appreciate everyone being here.
Yeah, I actually got something when it comes to goals because I want to make some.
Oh, do you?
Since
Okay, my bad.
we're on there. Oh yeah. So you know we're going to so when it comes to goals, right? I wanted to really just focus in on this because getting a calendar, like marking things off, actually having your like another form of self accountability, it's really huge for me. May not work for everybody, but I see myself doing more now when I go over there with the Sharpie and cross them days off and make sure I check off what I did that day, right? Journal entry, whether it's on a phone, whether it's on an app or it's on a paper, doesn't matter. I do it on an app, right? And then, like I said, we're going to that festival in May, and one of my goals is that I want to, and I'm not a self-conscious guy. You see me with my shirt off when I was nearly 400 pounds, bro. I don't care. But I want my goal is to have like a decently presentable fat body when we go, like a presentable fat body, right?
I'm with you,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
I'm trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. So I want to kind of look semi-decent without a shirt when we get there in May. But then the other thing is I have a creativity goal, and I wanted to talk about feeding your creativity. It can be however you want to do it, okay? You might like to draw. For me, it's writing, right? And I haven't manifested that writing into anything in a long time. But what I'm doing now, my goal is I've already contacted a couple of open mic nights out here, and I have written my first stand-up comedy set, my first 5 minutes, and I am going to go perform it 2 weeks after we come back from that in May. So every single day I'm memorizing it, performing it here in my space, and then I'm going to perform it, and I'm going to try to get my sister or somebody to come film it, and maybe you guys can see it. Maybe I'll do it a couple times and then do that. I might bomb, but I don't care, because it's do something hard, do something unexpected, and that's going to get the creative juices flowing. It's going to get more motivation. And so it's something that I've wanted to do for a while. I've talked to you that I said I wanted to do that. And so I have it written. I sat my ass down, wrote the set out. It's done. Now I just got to memorize it, try to get it, punch it up, make it funnier. And that's what I'm going to do 2 weeks after me and you come back from that thing. And that's what I got going on. And, I know that you just had an incredible goal finally fulfilled, even though it was, in the middle of the night last night, you had to make some some changes and some fixes. But
oh yeah,
like I said, we were going to jump to that because you learn how to fix, like some toilet stuff. You had to learn how to stop leaks. You learn how to put shelves up, all this stuff, all the painting you did, man, that's stuff that people don't even think about. So talk about it, man.
Owning a house, you learn how to do a lot of stuff, so you don't have to pay,
of course,
thousands of dollars. But no, yeah, no, I finally did. I finally got my house rented out, under contract, so that is great. That's a lot less stress on me. I'm excited. I'm happy about it.
Heck yeah, it's a load off.
It's a load off. No longer paying 2 mortgages will be great. I can do a lot more with that money.
It's a beautiful thing.
So, yeah.
Like all drinks are on him in May, baby. I'm not paying for that. I kid.
You're gonna have to get me drunk first.
Hey, yeah, well, I'm sure that won't be a problem. You're lightweight.
Not at all, bro. Not at all. So.
Nah, it takes you a few, don't it, though? But look, man, that's it, dude. I wanted to just share some joy that we got going on out there. I think your ring light went out, brother.
It did, but it's all right.
But I wanted to share some joy out there that we both got going on. It's always good to let people know what we also got going on and let them know that we practice what we preach. And not that we're preaching it, y'all, but we're just giving you advice that we practically put into practice. I got my goals and I'm achieving them. Like I said, what way would I ever do a down angle on a phone? Ever, bro. Like I self-conscious with double chin. Now I don't care, man. I'm good. Like what else you got, man? What else you got?
That's it, man. That's what we have. I mean, for goals, I don't. Same goals as always. I'm starting back doing salsa and bachata this week. I gotta get back on the guitar. I kind of fell off on that just because life just wasn't enough time. But now having this house off my hands and not having to spend time with that, I can get back to it. But yeah, just setting goals and working toward them, setting some goals that are actually achievable.
Achievable. That's a big one. Is make them achievable. Setting a lofty goal like, I'm gonna make $5 million this year. Okay, if you have
that could be a lifetime goal, but like when it comes to goal setting, you gotta have short term and long term.
Short and long term. What can you get done tomorrow? Can you walk to the gym tomorrow? That's a goal. It's my goal every day. Am I going to do it? So far, I've done it for 2 weeks straight and without missing a day. And I don't plan on missing a day, because I'm trying to keep myself accountable with it, right? So what can you achieve tomorrow? What can you achieve next week? What can you achieve next month? What can you achieve next year? That's that's the goals, man. And I think it's super important that everybody get into that because look, if you're not confident, if you're concentrating on yourself and yourself is improved and yourself is happy, that bleeds into the relationship stuff. That really actually helps facilitate a lot of that is when they know that you're confident, happy, and you're doing well for yourself. That's very contagious, not only for friendships, but also romantic relationships. It's all contagious. It's all a cycle, man. What?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My phone
Can you
won't stick.
still hear me? Oh, you
Phone
do
had
have
to do a
some
little puzzle.
adjustments.
Make sure it stays.
I'm sure
Explain
mine
this.
is coming up soon.
Yeah, probably so. But yeah, that's all I got for that, man.
Yeah,
We
man.
covered
I'm happy
we covered
I'm happy
everything
we're
tonight,
back to
man.
this format. Yeah. I'm happy we're back to that format. Like I wanted to tell everybody that, like we're gonna do a show for an hour. I was doing that when you went to go get Frost. I was just kind of letting everybody know since we're co-hosting is that we're going to do a show. That's kind of what we set out to do, and I think our first few episodes really, you know, encompassed that. And then I think we kind of got away from it. Had a good conversation this past week, so we are going to do a show, and then now we're pretty much an hour in. We've covered all of our topics, and so boom, on to the questions. Fire away. If you want to stay
Yeah,
in here for a little bit longer, or if you got some things to do, man, I don't know. It's up to you.
I,
What do you
I can
want to
stay
do?
for a little bit longer if people have questions, if they want to
And
ask
I can't see
anything.
their questions, so
Just fire
you
away.
let me know what they say.
You know. Well, we
That's
got
actually the one thing I
YouTube
don't
over
like about
here.
co-host.
We got TikTok. So you know,
I don't like that
I,
about co-host. Why
but
is it that I
I
can't?
know people are asking stuff, and I see something over here where Mother said you made a comment where you value different things with experience and time. And I understand that. I understand, but I want people to stop having to go through time because it's all the same things.
Yeah,
It's always the same thing. It's always everyone experiences those same things. So at some point, we have to cut that off and stop making that like normal. You know what I mean? Like the whole
yeah. So
here's the thing. For example, when it comes to relationships, people go through
yeah,
their 20s in their late teens valuing looks. It's all about hot people. We get it. It is
yeah,
what it is. And at some point, you have to stop that. You have to stop waiting until your mental and emotional well being is in the garbage to then be like, well, now I want to value something else. Well, you're going to hurt plenty of people in that process because you don't know how to accept that. We hear about this all the time. You condition yourself to go one way. Here's something I tell a lot of people, right? You hear it all the time. Well, girls want the exciting dudes when they're younger, right? You hear this all the time. Well, you go for the hot guy, the bad boy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera in your 20s.
absolutely.
And hey, do your thing. I tell people date how you want.
Yeah, there
However,
you want.
when that seems to be a pretty normal thing, what are you teaching the men at that age? Right? Same thing with men. Hey, if you want to sit there and only go for the hottest of the hot, and you only care about looks, well, why do you think women are only going to bring looks to the table?
That's it.
Right? Ain't that a big thing? YouTube table. What do you bring to the table? So you're teaching each other the wrong things. And then you get to your 30s and you're tired of that. And then you're wondering why it's so hard in your 30s. Because you got a decade worth of stuff you have to now rework.
Yeah,
So
rewire.
when people, so my bad, I mean, so when people try to tell me like, well, what about us 40-something-year-olds? What do you can tell us? What do you can tell us 50-year-olds? Fucking nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing. There's nothing to tell y'all at that point. Like, hey, come for the humor, but y'all should be spreading out better advice for the younger people. They're the ones that are the easiest. Y'all see it all the time. Oh, well, before 25, your frontal lobe, isn't developed. That's the big excuse everyone uses now, right? Like you don't know right from wrong. But that's the time when everyone's very influential. When you can really, the guys will say, well, you can mold young women a certain way, right? They take that with that. So
that's weird though. Yeah,
it is, but that's who we have to start looking and giving advice to. 45-year-olds and 50-year-olds, they're stuck being exactly who they are. They're not going to
Of
fucking.
course. That's
So you
true.
have to. I don't care about 40 and up. I care about the 20. I care about the 22-year-olds going down the wrong path and just following a trend that we already know what it's going to happen. We already know where they're going to end up. Let's stop that shit.
Yeah, man. Look, reaching a younger audience. Look. So I got the analytics on our stuff, and our audience is actually mostly under 40. So we have like 25 to 35 is like is 80% of our demo. So the right people are listening. Okay.
Right.
And we hope you guys take it from people who've been there. I know like we're not women, so we don't have those experiences, but we do have all of those dating experiences that you guys are going through. I've made mistakes. Look, here's the cool thing about me. I will always admit my mistakes. I admitted several of them today in dating. I had a terrible. As soon as I hit 25, I was done with the nonsense, and I got caught in a trap. It's not just women aren't the only ones that get caught in the trap. Men get caught in the trap too.
Sure.
It's the rat race. So it was all about okay, now I suddenly I know a lot of women, and I'm like now I can kind of go over here and eat this cheese, and it's not how it's cracked up to be. I should have stayed in that lane of intention. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's hard. It's hard out here. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Got a question from Amber. It says, what are our thoughts on leaving situations, not relationship related, when it's no longer serving you?
Serving you? What does that mean? That
but
feels quoted.
Leaving situations, not relationship related. What exactly?
Oh, not relationship. So a situation, not relationship related, like a job?
Like, I don't know. I mean, if something's not serving you.
Not serving you and you can afford to leave it, leave it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about like a job.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's no offense. I don't like. It's a weird question because like I need more specifics on that. Like, what are you leaving, or what do you want to leave?
Right. So
like, don't be afraid. Exactly. Look, hey, y'all like the safe spaces, right? Just tell us exactly what you're talking about without like you don't have to name names and name companies and name people, but if you give us a more condensed version of what you're actually speaking of, like actual details, it's a lot easier to answer those questions. Because all I can think of is job, right? Like non-related, or is it a friendship? I mean, is your friendship not serving you?
A situation that's not serving you anymore. I mean, if a situation isn't serving you, I mean, hell, leave. I mean, a relationship now that's different. That just depends. But you didn't want relationship, so. Pretty much anything else, if it's not serving you, leave. Take off.
Yeah. And
Amy, I wouldn't say answer to all of them is leave, because you're in a relationship. You're leaving a relationship just because it don't serve you anymore.
Go Disney. What did I do? Thank you.
The reason why relationships are different is because why is it not serving you anymore? There's got to be more in depth when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. I need more clarity on that. If you can give us more clarity on that, we'll come back to it. But anybody got anything else?
So, I was trying
anything?
To go through.
Nope.
See everybody. I mean, you better put out if you're buying all the drinks. He better put out if I'm buying all the drinks. That's for sure.
Look, I always.
Did I get sleep token tickets? No. They sold out like crazy.
I saw you listening to that. I don't even know what that is. Sorry.
So did not get sleep token tickets. Am I going to donate my hair? I mean, if it's long enough, I'll see. I don't know. I'm really debating it. I'm getting my hair done this week. I don't know. I think I'm gonna cut it and just do something different. It's good, but yeah. Oh, here we go. Amanda wrote, "What do you us guys think about women wanting separate bank accounts?"
In a marriage,
Oh,
I'm guessing in a marriage, like that's the only way that would really come up, right? In a marriage.
right, because if you're not
If
married,
that's
then
what you decide to do, that's what you decide to do. Here's the thing: if you're gonna have separate bank accounts, to me, that means that you don't want anything if it ends. So if you're gonna have separate bank accounts, don't go after that person's money when it all ends. That's what I feel. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that.
Me? Oh, no.
Like, what are you
Why do you need
hiding? That's what I
because
don't
why do you?
understand.
Because here's the thing. Why do you need a separate bank account? Right? To me, because here's the thing. In marriage, because there's two becomes one, right? And if you're going
Yeah,
to go into marriage with the idea that it's going to fail, don't get married. I feel that's a reason why a lot of marriages fail. Now, to each their own. There's marriages that have separate bank accounts that work. There's marriages that got one bank account. It works. Do what works for you. Me personally, though, is two becomes one. We're working as a team. That is one less thing that you have to hide. You can't hide that. You can see, oh, my partner all of a sudden took 10K out of the bank. What's going on? You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I gotta know.
So if
what's
they
going
have
on.
some type of addiction, whether it's gambling, drugs, whatever, at least you can catch on to that. When you don't have it, next thing you know, well, you know, they done gambled all their money away. They put the house up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's
to
all got to
me,
go into one spot, and then we
but I think
funnel
it's
it out accordingly.
yeah, and because it's two becomes one. That's the whole point of marriage. You are coming one, and you do that. If you have if your thought process is well, I'm worried about it ending and what's going to happen if I end. Like this is why it don't work out.
Yeah.
A lot of the times because of that. Like you're already thinking about yourself, and you
Yeah.
can't think about yourself. You're supposed to be serving the person, your partner. You're supposed to be serving each other. So,
Yeah, a lot of
but hey,
problem
teach
is
their own.
a lot of
Just
people come into relationships with an exit strategy now, and you're coming in with an exit strategy. It's over with before it even starts. Right? It may not be actually over for 15 years, but it's pretty much over. If you're
right,
coming in with an exit strategy, it's ridiculous.
right.
You either trust them or you don't. You love them or
You
you
can't.
don't.
How are you supposed to be a becoming one with your partner when you're thinking that when you have that thought process? Now look, it works for some people. As long as like you get with someone who is like on board with that, you know,
Yep.
cool. It wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me.
No, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it. Personally.
Amy wants to know a quick rundown because she's new. What do you do? Where are you from? We're both coast boys from the coast of Mississippi. And what we do, I don't know if I can tell you what I do, but what we do on here is we actually like to talk. We like to get into some of the oddities, absurdities, and some of the better parts of dating culture, and then we also like to talk about mental health, physical health, self improvement. Pretty much everything you heard us talk about on this podcast. We just do it a little differently each week, and then like to talk to you guys afterwards. So that's what we do.
Got a few comments here. First off, Kingdom Paris says most men have a second wife. Here's the thing, right? Let me just go ahead and put this out there. Statistically speaking, men and women cheat about the same. It's like a 2% difference, like 49 to 47% of men and women cheat. So this constantly trying to point out that men do something when women literally do it pretty much at the same rate. Stop worrying about men having a second wife. Most men can't pleasure one woman. You think they're pleasuring multiple? Stop.
I know I can't pleasure one woman. I ain't
You know
trying
what
to
I'm
have
saying?
to. You know what I mean? Still working on one, dude.
And Amy Morris, you hit the nail on the head. You think most people want to have their own bank account trying to protect themselves, right? You're going into a marriage where literally you're supposed to be a team, and you're worried about protecting yourself. Why are you marrying someone that you're worried about yourself? Like, that would never make sense to me. I could never. Once again, when people go, why have you not been married? Well, let's think about it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that made you smile, Amy. I try. All I can do is try my hardest, right? You know. Don't always work out. What do you want me to say? I'm a realist. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Yeah. But yeah.
Got anything else?
Kingdom Paris, I've already made videos about this. Marriage is beneficial when you have two people who actually want to be married and actually want to be married to the person they're married. It actually does benefit both parties in many ways, in several ways. I wouldn't say there's like a ton, but in many ways, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially. It does. It also benefits your children when you have two people doing that. Oh yeah, there you go. See, and these comments that I'm making about it are like they're facts, there's statistics proving it. So
absolutely. Look, G. I'm glad that you're watching, G, because we were talking about stuff that I talked to you about personally. My nephew is out in here. Look, man, start planning early, G.
I love you too, Paris. Couple questions, Amanda and Princess. So how long should you date before you get married? I think you should be engaged at the latest year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, I guess.
Year and a half, and I mean a year and a half to now. This is also you dating intentionally,
right?
Dating
if
with
you have the intention, then
because you should be able to go through enough stuff. You should be spending enough time with that person, right? When people ask me, why did I get married? It's like, look, things were great for 8 months. I was ring shopping. Things were great at a year. Then all of a sudden things went downhill. And you start going, wait a minute. And you spend another year trying to figure it out. And then you realize after a year, you can't figure shit out after a year and you're not even married. Why would we get married?
Yeah, G, I know there's an echo. I don't know how to fix it. I don't care at this point.
So to me, marriage, I mean, by 2 years, you should be planning the wedding, if not married, in 2 years. I would thinking about it now, maybe at least engaged in 2 years. Between a year and 2 years, you should be engaged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But y'all notice, y'all understand, y'all notice when you hit different levels in a relationship, people will change. People start to act differently. So you got to see, like, well, shit, can I deal with this? Can I deal with this version of them?
Yeah. Amy, I also want to get married and have babies. You're not the odd one out. We're both about that. We love that. That's what we want to see y'all be about. We got to get married and have babies. That's what we want. We want to encourage you guys to want to get married and have babies. Why be out here in the streets, right? You don't want to be for the streets.
Streets are away.
I've been for the streets. It ain't great.
Princess Leda says, should you live with someone before you get married? Absolutely.
Yeah, these days, yes.
I know the statistics say that there's a higher % chance of you getting divorced if you live with someone before marriage. But I don't ever see the correlation of it being because they live together.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you got to know the habits. You got to know what you're not going to be able to deal with, what people need to compromise on, what you're going to have to get used to. Like you have to live together.
How much lower do you think the divorce rate would be if people live together before?
Lower? Well, I'm with you.
It would drop if more people live together before. It would drop.
The thing is, I think people that do get married do live together mostly these days. I really do. I don't think that they don't live together. I don't think that that's a component in divorce. I really
think it's something else. I don't think they're living together.
I think living together leads to more broken engagements than it does broken marriages. Because most people live together before they take the plunge these days. 100%. Like we're not, a very high percentage of people live together. It's a new day, or it's a different day than back in the day. There is no living with your parents until you're married. Not in America. Now India still does that, and that's a pretty cool thing. Like I think maybe we probably do need to start doing that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just me. I'm old school, man.
I think you have to live with people before because it's
separate bedrooms so fully supported, Anastasia. I fully support it if that is what helps you. So put it this way: I dated a girl who loved having sex, hated cuddling, didn't like sleeping in the same bed as somebody. I am fully fine with that because I roll around and do stuff. So when we lived together, way back in the day, we did not live in the same room. So and we weren't even married. So it's all about what works for you. I do like cuddling, but I also don't care. So it didn't bother me. And she doesn't like doing that stuff. She hated sleeping with other people in the bed. So perfectly fine. If that works for you to keep you guys, in good headspace, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with people sleeping in different beds and different bedrooms. The bedrooms is a little weird. I don't know about the bedrooms. I mean, you got to have a bunch of money if you have like 6 rooms so y'all can sleep in different rooms.
It depends. I mean, look, if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. That's it. I mean, you could have different work schedules. You got to do that. You could just want that.
Yeah.
Each their own. I mean,
yeah, like any woman that's with.
Wouldn't be me. But
that's fine. And then if that wouldn't work for you, then it wouldn't work for you. Like for me, I have no care either way. I can sleep with somebody in the bed or not. It doesn't actually bother me either way. So I don't have that kind of an issue at all. And as far as what is it? She's saying that could work. Yeah. So look, if it works, it works. That's the thing. You always got to find what works.
Different things work for them. It's just like the bank account situation. It works for different people, different strokes, different folks. Marie says,
would I prefer it? Of course.
Marie says living together after marriage makes you work harder on your relationship. I don't think it's the living together. I believe that is people who are more marriage minded.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, there's no study that I've seen that says it's the living together is what makes it go. When, you have people who are just more marriage minded, who want to be married.
Yeah.
Right. How many times you hear people listen to the stories that people have. This person was giving it their all. They were marriage minded. The other person, they weren't really marriage minded. They weren't trying to be a team. So it fell apart. To me, I don't think living together before or after marriage is the correlation, is the problem. Well, it's people marrying people. How many men out there give women shut up rings? The dude don't want to be married, but the woman's like, I'm going to marry you. And he ends up marrying her so he don't lose her. But he doesn't really want to get married. Are we both married? No, neither one of us are married. But we're surrounded by people that are married.
Anyway, yeah. No, both not married. And I was gonna say something about so like when it comes to my relationship, it'd probably be better for them to have another bed because I get off mad late. And if you work during the day, I come home super late at night. So I work nights. So it's just all a different thing. As far as working on relationships, I want to just say this real quick. You're talking about working on relationships. I don't think if you work harder, you're right, marriage minded. You always got to work on it. You always have to work on a marriage. Like marriage work never stops. And you and I are both a proponent of top down or trickle down economics, right? So a lot of the big issue that I really believe these days is that people they say kids first, and it's very controversial, right? If you say you're not kids first, you're you don't love your kids. Incredibly incorrect. I think that the two people who started this thing have to stay happy, and that trickles down to the family. And that's where a lot of people get messed up. I see it a lot. Is you'll see, and unfortunately, it's a lot of the women is they go, "Oh, my kids come first." And I think that really, unfortunately, really puts a lot of strain on relationships when you're not keeping each other happy, because again, keeping each other happy always trickles down to the kids.
Well, they
That's
always say it. You have to continue dating and being married to each other.
yep.
The moment
Yep.
you
Yep.
stop putting your partner ahead, and we're not talking about for a short term. This is long term. They do this long term, which then you no longer together. Which people wonder why divorce goes the way it does. You have to put your partner first, and we know everyone tries to shame everybody who says no. Your partner comes before the children. And oh no, and a lot of them are in miserable marriages because they put the children above their
Yeah.
partner, and then you see how it goes. But a couple people did say this, right?
Go
Is
ahead.
that
Go ahead.
it's a commitment, right? When those vows mean things to certain people,
Yeah.
right? That through the good, the bad, the sickness, health, for richer or poor, that means something to a lot of people. So when they
It
get
does.
married, yeah, they don't matter if they live together before or after. When that marriage means something because they're marriage minded and those vows mean something, right? There you go. When people go, I wasn't happy, so I got divorced. That's the point of the vows. It's the commitment that you staying married and you're working through that stuff. So yeah, I like y'all.
Yeah. I'm gonna get married, stay married type of dude, man. Like that divorce stuff.
Oh,
Look,
oh, the Island Titan Royal said Saints and Falcons are garbage. Keep pounding. That's your boy. That's your boy. Oh, you were not. No, don't raise no Baltimore shit.
it's baseball season. I don't know what he's talking about right now. It's baseball season.
That's Mark.
That was who?
Mark.
My Mark?
The Island Titan.
Oh, get out of here.
Miss
Hey,
you,
bro, I missed you when I came home, brother.
That's right. Amanda said, why do I feel like I'd have to live with someone before marriage? Because I need to see if we can work it out.
Yeah,
Because
you
when you
gotta
live
know
together with somebody, it's too easy to get divorced. So it's easier to see before you go waste all the money and everything else. Because like typically people go buy houses, they spend money on the weddings, the honeymoons. Before you spend all that money on somebody, you need to see if you can live together. I'm a big component on that.
You gotta know the quirks. You gotta know what's gonna annoy you, what you're gonna have to get used to, what can be compromised, what can be changed by, like, I don't know, snoring, CPAP machines, whatever. Like, get a nose surgery. What is that called? That nose surgery. Like, what you have to know what you're gonna be living with these days. It's just almost a requirement at this point.
Right.
Can't just go in like cold turkey. It just can't do it.
Yeah, it's not the 1800s anymore. Like we're not living with our parents until marriage anymore. And I actually think that saves a lot of people from getting divorced. You go live with each other. I've lived with 2 women, and you
Thank you,
realize
Anastasia.
it's not going to work.
Rhinoplasty. No, not rhinoplasty. That's a nose job. I'm not talking about that. Deviated the septum surgery. When you have a deviated septum, that's what I'm talking about. That's usually what causes snoring and crazy stuff.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You will really see how people are and see how they're going to treat you. You know what I'm saying? This is why I also say, like, when you're dating someone, you got to wait 6 to 8 months to really see that real them, to see what those real insecurities and triggers and everything else are. You got to let that person get real comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you're at that point. This is why a lot of people say, oh, my time was wasted. Yeah, their time was wasted because you held back from showing someone who you really are, what really goes on with you, how you really react to things. And now that person goes, this ain't the person I'm in love with. The person I'm in love with was the person you've been for the last 8 months. Who is this? Now I have to learn this, and I have to learn now. I have to understand and learn can I love this? Is this what I love? Is this, do I want this in my life? And a lot of people don't do that. This is why I tell them, I'm like, I am me from the get-go. I'm not putting on a fake persona. I'm not trying to pretend to be someone I'm not. Like, you're gonna get me.
Yeah.
This loud ass mouth. That you're gonna
Same.
get this. Like, this is who I am. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, a lot
and
of
that's a
people.
true statement, man. If any of you guys ever actually end up meeting us, this is who we are. So we don't change. This is who we are. You know.
Marie said the snorting and farting. Yeah, you never know. Hey, you might not be able to handle your partner snoring and farting. It might gross you out to the point you're like you can't even hook up with them anymore. So
And that's the thing, man.
I think there was a comment that said, "Do we believe in love at first sight?" No, I believe
No,
in lust at first sight.
lust at first
Love
sight,
though,
not love.
love, you got to build that. You got to build that. I might. You can love the way a person looks.
Yeah, love comes in a moment, man. Love comes in a moment when you're looking at them and you realize something. That's how I feel. I don't. It's just lust at first sight. If my dog doesn't
Which
like
is
you, it's
totally,
over.
hey, which is
That's
okay.
crazy.
We get it. It is okay. Yeah, and then people do change in marriage. Like, people are going to change a little bit. Here's my thing about life, right? I understand people change as they get older, but like overall, you should still be the same type of person. You know what I'm
Pretty much.
saying? A lot of people be trying to change because they have midlife crises and shit. You know what I mean? And I ain't with that. I'm not with that. Like, most people are the same. You know.
Amy, nah, you're not gonna be single forever. Have a positive attitude. No worries about
Have a
that.
positive attitude
You'll
for
find
sure.
somebody that wants to get married and have babies.
Look, I've said it time and time again. I've lived with 2 women. I've been in several, 5, 6, 7 long-term relationships. I mean, I'm 39, so like a year here, 2 years here, and I don't tell people don't date. I don't sit out here and say that people aren't worth the fuck. I say it all the time. Like, everyone's a great person to the person they want. Everybody. Just finding that person.
Bro,
Lorraine said
tomorrow's
people do change.
high is gonna break a fucking record.
Here's the thing about people changing. A lot of people don't change. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to people. And so they think they change. No. Most people, because humans are creatures of habit.
Yep.
Most people are who they are. You might have ignored it. You might have thought they were cute when they were doing this stuff, and then it turns around and bites you in the ass later on. You might have been like, it's okay. They can be that way. Just asking, why 2 years, no ring? Why was I dating someone for 2 years and no ring? I was ring shopping. And then all of a sudden, those red flags started going off, and you pay attention to that. All of a sudden, very important things started happening. And you go, hold on, time out. You have to slow this roll here. That's why. See, a lot of people got married. I said this earlier in the podcast. A lot of people got married, and they did what? They ignored the red flags. They created some false type of what's that word that people think of? Potential. People be creating fake potential for people. They be thinking, oh, well, if we get married, they'll change, or whatever the case may be. I never did that. That's why I never got married. That's why you don't have me having 3 divorces.
Well, look,
Because
that's why you have
I
to.
started seeing this stuff, and I'm like, I can't marry someone.
That's why you have to date each other the whole time you're married. Like, you have to stay engaged with each other to understand the nuances of what's changing. Because again, the core of the person is not going to change, but certain values are going to change, certain priorities are going to change, and you have to stay in sync with each other, because you will end up with a stranger if you do not do that. That's kids out the house, and all of a sudden you don't know that person looking at you, and then you're 55 and divorced and alone, and you have nobody. So,
and they said something like, well, I just said it, right? Oh, there is no sudden change. No. I said we're together for 2 years, 2+ years. After 6 to 8 months or even a year, all of a sudden you start noticing things. Suddenly when someone gets comfortable, they start showing you who they are.
Yeah.
You know, they get real comfortable, but they still those type of people. You know.
Look, you have a marriage proposal from Amy, and so I think I'm gonna end it right there, man. I'm out of here. I got some things I need to do. I'm gonna let you two work that out, and I am out of here. Amy, good luck with that proposal, guys. We're gonna see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys with the new show format, and we'll see you guys next week. As always, Coyotes are us.
Yeah,
Appreciate you guys.
y'all coming out.
Love you.
Y'all
See you next
week.
week.